Start with, I was expecting you guys probably wanted help with some of the questions from yesterday. Definitely not doing that. Don't have time for that. I understand that that would be wanted, but I don't have time for that. I should have expected. Do you mean the second problem or number two?
Number two, I have specified. Number two.
That's why I'm asking for clarification.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, sir.
So the very first problem.
The first problem, which is number two.
Is there a reason you didn't ask me when we had 20 minutes to do it yesterday?
I wanted to try to figure it out on my own.
That sounds suspicious, I'll be honest. What is it? I don't remember it. I don't have it printed in front of me.
It is 4x to the sixth power over 2x minus 6.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so the first problem. This one, I definitely got quite a few questions on in class because when most people looked at it, they didn't think there was anything to do. And it understandable. You can't cancel an x anywhere. The only thing you actually can do is that the 2x minus 6 has a greatest common factor. Like they both have a 2 going into it. So there's not actually much we can do to this, but just we do what we can. So I can factor a 2 out and get x minus 3. And when I factor that 2 out, then I'm able to reduce or cancel, however you want to phrase this. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's where the final answer comes from, 2x to the 6th over x minus 3. Now you cannot cancel these x's. This x on the bottom is tied together with the minus 3 because of the addition subtraction sign. So you can only cancel things when it's multiplied across the whole. Yeah. Oh. I thought you had a question on that one. I still don't have the worksheet in front of me.
Oh, x plus 4 over 3x squared plus 11x minus 4.
Minus 4?
Minus 4.
Okay. Any particular part of this that felt hard to you?
Well, I was able to do the factoring on the bottom, so I got x plus 4 over x plus 12 parentheses and x minus 1 parentheses.
Oh, that's definitely wrong. What did you say? X4, X12,
I said x
plus 4, plus 12?
Sorry, x plus 12 in one parentheses.
Okay.
X minus 1 in another parentheses.
The x plus 4 the equation we talked about at the top.
Gotcha. So this is what you had? Gotcha. Where did the factoring on the bottom come from?
Because those numbers add up to 11 and multiply to negative 12.
Oh, I got you. You approached it correct. You approached it correct, but you weren't sure how to write the answer. Yeah, no, I got what you're saying. You definitely approached it correct. So I'll do this off on the side, I guess. When there's a number in the front, I'm assuming you got the negative 12 by multiplying those, which is perfect. And then you looked for the two numbers that multiply to negative 12, add to 11, which was great. But when there's a number in the front, you can't just immediately write them in parentheses. So what you're going to do is take those two numbers you figured out and put them in place of 11. So you're going to do plus 12x minus 1x. And then that's how they'll be kind of used. And then in this instance, you split it in half. First half has a 3x in common. Second half has a minus 1 in common. And I know I did that part really fast, but they both have an x plus 4 in common, so I put that in the front. And then I write what would be left over, which is 3x minus 1. So then that's how you actually have to factor it. I'm going to guess you had problems with number 3 as well, possibly just because that was the same type of factoring.
I did it, but I must have done it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, question number 3, both the top and bottom of the fraction had to be factored like this on the right-hand side. And in my opinion, the beginning of your homework is probably the hardest. Like that second question was the hardest one on the homework. Yeah.
Can you do number 6?
Sure.
It was 6x squared plus 7x minus 3 over 3x negative 3x squared plus x.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular place you got stuck? Were you able to factor the bottom?
I was confused because there were more numbers on the top than the bottom, but I don't know if that like changed anything.
It doesn't. So you're going to approach this by factoring the top and bottom separate, and then just kind of seeing what you get once you factor it. So the bottom, when I'm looking at it, first thing we always check for is greatest common factor. This one does. They both have an x. And I'm actually going to factor out a negative x. Oh, I bet you this is going to be one where it was set up so that factors were reversed or something. But I'm going to take out a negative x, so the first one isn't negative. And then this would become positive 3x minus 1. Factoring something out means you're dividing by it. And so that's kind of where I got my positive 3x and then minus 1 from. The top of the fraction, I'll probably just do somewhere off on the side because that one's going to take some work. And I realize you guys, I don't know how you had yours set up, but if you printed out that worksheet, that probably would have been tough to fit anything on there. So I multiply the outside two numbers because there's a number on the x squared. I get negative 18. And then I try to think of two numbers that would multiply to negative 18, add to 7. So then that would be positive 9, negative 2. And then I'm going to write those in place of 7. And the order I write them doesn't matter. It'll work either way. And I get for some people, trying to figure out those two numbers might not be something that's super quick. Like you might be writing stuff off on the side. That's totally okay. But then once I have 4 terms, I split it in half. First half each has a 3 and an x going into it. And if you want to figure it out, like if you're having trouble doing it in your head, you just kind of write it as division. 6 divided by 3 is 2. X squared divided by x is x. Plus 3. Second half is both negative, so I'd factor out a negative 1. And then they both have a 2x minus 3 in common. So I put that in the front. And I know for some of you, this might feel like I'm going really fast. 100% it's going to be that you're just going to have to try to practice these again to get quicker at them. So the top I was able to factor into 2x plus 3, 3x minus 1. And for the most part, you guys should probably kind of take it as a clue that every one of these questions is probably going to have something that cancels because that was kind of the goal of the assignment. So those cancel out. There's 2 ways you can write the final answer. You can write it as 2x plus 3 over negative x. I would bet the answer key probably wrote the answer as negative in the front. For whatever reason, they don't usually like putting negatives on the bottom. So they probably wrote the answer like that. That one definitely had a lot of stuff to it too. And I'm assuming the top was probably the more difficult part, possibly. Okay. I'm going to move on. Oh, there you go. I think that was up on the answer key though too. Didn't the answer key have steps on it? Oh, I bet you it didn't have these steps though, did it? I bet you did the answer key basically just take the top and then factor it into that? Yeah, that seems like an answer key thing. So because we've got this win time coming up, kind of the way that we're supposed to set up our classes is to have less time to /work/help you, because we're taking 2 class days and kind of combining it into one. And I'm not going to like eliminate all of it because it just doesn't make sense to me. But do know that like that's kind of what the win time is going to be for, is for you guys to come in and get help if you want it /need it. So if you're having a really hard time factoring, that would probably be a good time for you to come in. So Wednesdays and Thursdays, I set up my thing to be open so anybody can sign up for it. So you're welcome to come in and get help if you want it. And then let me go right to today's notes, which I think you're probably going to find easier. Yesterday's probably felt a lot more difficult for you, pretty much because it's been so long since you factored. We're not actually learning much new today. It's just we're using what we did yesterday to multiply and divide. And I don't think you'll have a hard time. Oh, we re-rigged and we experimented with the dice, and we no longer have to do the square dice. So you guys don't have to have weird numbers. So now we've got the 1 triangle dice, which is for 4. So it'll tell me the row. And then we've got a 10-sided dice, which has a 0 on it. So basically, if you roll a 0, it's nothing. So it'll have 9. And I'm assuming Rosia wanted to roll today because that was why she came on time. All right. I feel like that was worth it. Okay, I don't know if you need training on this or not. Okay. The triangle dice is weird because of the way they write the numbers on it.
So I would say row, whatever,
Yep.
seat.
Well, you can just read me the 2 numbers, this one
Okay.
first. So like when you roll the triangle one, it has lots of numbers, but the number at the top is the one you read. I know, they're so tiny.
Okay.
I feel like I need to get bigger ones.
No, it's okay.
Okay. You probably have much better eyes than me. Okay. It's hard to pick it up, too.
Row 1,
Okay?
seat 2.
Yeah, it says 20. But yeah, 2. Jaden. You probably need to take the headphones out slightly so you can hear me. There we go. Okay, so we're kind of continuing on from yesterday, which I think you were gone for? Okay. But we theoretically have done this a while ago. So there's multiple approaches we can take when we're multiplying fractions. One approach is that you can simplify first, or multiply first. It honestly doesn't really matter. Each one has advantages and disadvantages. But no matter which way we pick, we have to double check that the final answer can't be, could be simplified more. Do you have a preference?
I'd say multiply, but I don't know about what.
Oh, okay. So if you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the tops together and then you multiply the bottoms together.
Oh, okay.
So like we're going to be looking at 2x4y5 times 15x2. Do you remember how to do that from a while ago? Do you want some guidance? Okay. Multiply the regular numbers first. And then you're going to multiply like letters. So x to the 4th times x squared. You add their powers together and it becomes x6. And then y5 is the only, there's nothing to multiply it with. So how about the bottom? What would the bottom turn into?
60.
24?
Oh, yeah. X5 and then Y2.
Good, very good. Nice job. Okay, Rocio? They have the heat cranked on to like 1,000,000,000 degrees now.
Row 1C4.
David, you ready? Okay, anything you could tell me? And again, I happily give you guidance if you want it. I didn't hear what you said. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but. Oh, okay, good. So we've got an x6 divided by x5, so you do subtract their powers. Do you remember where I write the answer? On the top. So x6 minus 5 would be x to the first on the top. And I can write a 1 or I can leave it blank. Morgan. Hadley, you should yell at her for being on her phone. Morgan.
Oh.
She slyly put it away. Okay, David, I gave you a little bit of chance there to kind of think about it some more. Oh. Was that all you were going to do, was do the X's?
I guess I can do it.
That'd be appreciated. Okay,
So Y5 minus 1, 2.
good. And then you get Y3, which would be written on the top. How about the numbers? So we've got a 30 and a 24. Divide by 6, good. So I'll divide top and bottom by 6, and however you want to write that works. So this would be a 5, this would be a 4.
Mary, you just divide by 6 so you can simplify them?
Yeah. Yeah. When it's regular numbers, you simplify it like we've always done forever. So I'm going to write a 5 on the top, a 4 on the bottom, and then we're done. Oh, well, this will feel easier than yesterday because yesterday's was just like having to remember everything. One downside about multiplying first like we did is that sometimes the information can get really big. And that's the main downside. So if you've got a lot of big information first, it might be easier to simplify ahead of time. So let me show you that method just in case you like it better. So I'll do simplify first in blue. And I'll kind of like ignore all that. If I simplify first, anything from the top can simplify with anything from the bottom because that's how multiplication works. Multiplication kind of means like it's one big line. So the 3 and the 15 can reduce because they both divide by 3, or 15 divided by 3, but this is a 5. The 2 and the 8 can reduce, and that's become a 4. The downside to this method is it's like all over the place and there's lots, like it's messy. These two can go together and leave x2 on the top. These two can go together and leave x negative 1 on the top. And then we have a y5 and a y2 separated, but one's on the top, one's on the bottom, so I can still subtract them and get y3 on top. And like I said, the disadvantage of this method is it's messy. So if I read everything that's left on the top, I've got x2, y3, 5, x negative 1, bottom, just 4. X2 and x negative 1 can go together by adding them, and that would become x1. And then you traditionally put the regular numbers first. You don't really have to, but it just looks dumb otherwise. And then you end up getting the same answer. But my guess is some people will find the one I wrote in black easier. Some people will find the one I wrote in blue easier. It's just kind of your own personal, yeah.
How did you cancel the 2 and the 3 out?
The X's?
No, in the first.
Oh, so any number from the bottom can cancel with any number from the top. So this 2, I canceled with this 8. So basically 8 divided by 2. And then that left 4. And then this 3, I did with the 15. But like I said, if this method in blue feels way more difficult, then you should definitely do the one in black. Okay. Now this probably felt not bad. Do you remember what we were doing yesterday that could make these worse? What did we do a lot of yesterday, Anna?
Factoring.
Yeah. So that's definitely going to be involved today too. But it's the same process as this. Nope. Nope. Yep, there we go. Like I said the other day, I made these notes for when we had longer class periods and no work done. Don't judge me. I'm tired. That's true. I should have a song queued up for that. Hey, suppose I can't pass it before I roll. Do I need anything for this? This is why they put wheels on chairs. Okay, when you run into the questions with factoring, I don't know if it feels easier or not, but like I've seen most students in the past prefer to write everything as 1 to start with. So multiply the whole tops. And I'm going to put parentheses around them now because I know they're separate from each other. I'm not going to actually FOIL them out though. Okay, so I didn't really do anything. I just wrote it as 1. Okay, Rocio, we definitely need somebody to help us with this because we need a lot of assistance.
Row 4, seat 6.
Literally the only seat in class that doesn't have somebody. Yep. That was pure unluckiness. Wait, is everybody here today? This is a first. I should definitely write this down somewhere. This is impressive.
Row 3, seat 10.
1.
Oh, 1.
Yep.
Sorry.
Bryce,
So,
she rolled you. I was hoping you could help me on this.
I was Rick rolled.
Not really, and unless I guess if her name was Rick, then you'd be Rick roll. But
Alright, so you just
I got it. I got the joke.
Alright. So you just want me to unfactor everything?
Whatever you want to tell me to do would be awesome, and I can give you some assistance if you want.
Alright,
Let's start out with, can anything cancel right away?
right away, not that, let's see.
Correct.
Alright, so top goes into, so the top one turns into, I'm assuming I have to turn it into something.
Are you talking about foiling it out?
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
no, okay.
It wouldn't be wrong to do that, but it won't help us find an answer. So we'd be doing like extra work for nothing. Because if you foiled it out, then you would just need to factor it again. So let's focus on the bottom because the bottom has things we can do.
Alright,
How How about 3x plus 12? Is there anything in common 3x plus 12 has?
Three.
Yep. So I'm going to write this as 3 times x plus 4. Good?
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, that's what you told me to do. Oh, you said they had 3 in common, so that's what we do when they have something in common. Okay? Do you want to keep going? Do you want somebody else to go? Can x squared minus 4 factor?
No,
Yes, can.
they don't have anything in common.
Correct, they don't.
No, unless it's X's.
So this was called a difference of squares, if you remember it. Basically, the way we view it is there are 2 numbers that multiply to negative 4 and add to 0 because there's no middle term. And there are 2 numbers that do that, plus 2 and minus 2. So that was called a difference of squares. That probably required some pretty extensive remembering. Yeah.
Why didn't we just do it the same as we did the first round? Like, just like combine all the numbers?
I did up top.
Well, like in the first problem?
Oh, why? How is it different than this one?
Yeah.
This one doesn't have any plus and minus signs.
Um,
As soon as you have plus and minus signs, that makes terms tied together. So like this plus sign that's in between the x and the 2, that immediately means that those are together. So that's what makes it more difficult. But correct. So we are taking the same approach, but because of all those plus and minus signs, it makes everything a lot more difficult. Nope, good question. Okay, let's roll somebody else. It looks like Bryce is checked out.
Sure.
Well, you just stopped answering.
Because this, you didn't ask it.
Are we done?
Yeah.
No.
Row 4, seat 2.
Lucas.
Yeah.
What should I do next? Is there anything I can do next? Which I kind of already answered.
Well, you can do the x plus 4's,
Good.
2 and 2.
They're in common?
Yeah.
Yep. And then I think you said something else that I didn't hear.
The x plus 2.
X plus 2 and x plus 2 are both in common. They can cancel out. So we have nothing else left to cancel on the top. What do I do from here? How about this? Would the answer be this?
No.
No. What did I write wrong? Yeah. So if nothing is left on the top, you have to write a 1. That was a bad line. Let's redo that one. Correct. To signify or show something's on the bottom, you have to put it on the bottom of a fraction. Okay. I think this definitely calls for you guys to try one of these on your own. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Can't you distribute the 3?
Yes, you could.
Just have like 3x minus 6.
Correct. That would also be correct. Either answer is good.
Is there one you prefer?
No. If I'm correcting a test or something, I'll immediately know they're both the same. Nope, that was a good question. Why don't you guys try this one on your own? Very similar to the one we just did. Okay, Rocio, we need a real genius here to help us guide us. Because there's a lot of stuff.
There's a volunteer.
Oh, there was volunteers for geniuses.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez.
Row 1, seat 7.
Okay.
You can show your displeasure to her later.
So don't we like do it like the last problem?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. You put everything together to start with. Probably, if it's not easier to do that for you, you don't have to at all.
So I know for the right bottom of this, like the piano, they have 5 in them.
Very good. Okay. Good start.
And then for the one on the left on the bottom,
Okay.
is it like x subtracting 6x?
You trailed off there. I didn't hear that end of the.
Can we distribute the like x again on that?
No. So the one on the left on the bottom, we've got 3 terms, and there's no number on the x squared, so that would be considered one of the 3-term easies. Where what you're going to do is look for what multiplies to 8, adds to -6, and then that's going to be -4 and -2. So I think what you were trying to say is you were saying something about multiplying it out. The way it would be written, if that was the case, is the information would be written in front of the parentheses to multiply out.
Oh, okay. And then for the top, like they have 10 in common,
Good?
and then x plus 3 can cancel at the bottom.
Very good. Excellent job, because this one had a lot of things to do. Not necessarily everything was super hard. There was just a lot to do, so organizing is tough. So the x plus 3's cancel, that's what you said? Yep, good. Anything else?
X.
Good?
And then you would just do 10 over x subtracted 2.
Like this?
And 5, yeah.
Okay, we're done?
And then would you divide the
Good catch.
10?
Good catch. Very good catch. Yeah, there's one thing left, and that's the 10 and the 5. If you could see it on the top part, that's good. But like I said, sometimes these problems start to get messy and like busy. Lots going on. So there's nothing wrong with you canceling again later. But yeah, very good. So then that would leave a 2 on the top. So you'd have 2 over x minus 2. It's kind of weird that that original problem came down to just this little info.
If we like forget to simplify, will we just get like half a point off?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. These questions definitely will have multiple points because there's multiple steps. So usually that's kind of how we try to set them up. And if you're doing, certain portion of the steps correct, you get credit for that. Yeah. But like on our last test, every question was 1 step because you just type it in the calculator. So like those were pretty much just like 1 point each. So that's kind of how we usually try to set it up. Okay, last example. What time is it? We're all right. Should we go right to B? Would that be easier? Or should we just do the A? I don't think we'll have time for both. Which one's easier? Well, wouldn't you want me to go over the harder one? Yeah. Oh, okay. A is easier, in my opinion. How about this? We can theoretically start both of them, and I don't think you need help finishing them. Oh, wow. Okay. I feel like you get to choose because you're rolling, so like that's
That's just fair.
okay. Do you guys remember what happens if you're dividing fractions? Nope, close. Oh, cross multiply is like a swear word when you get to math.
Oh my god.
I think what you were actually trying to say is cross divide. Because that's usually how not elementary teachers, but middle school teachers, when you got to dividing fractions, they probably taught you to cross divide. And that's bad. We don't do that. We definitely don't do that. So instead of dividing by a fraction, each question is identical if you change it to multiplication and flip the second one upside down. So that's essentially where the term cross divide came from.
Oh, you just revolutionized my way. Why did you put
So you don't flip the first one, you only flip the second. And it's always going to be that order. So if you're dividing by a fraction, you can change it to multiplication by flipping the second one upside down. Now this is kind of why I said I could probably start both of them with you and let you finish, because now it's the exact same questions we just did. Because I wanted to give you some time to try to work in here so we could go over them and then be able to start the new section tomorrow.
Wait, do we have this hour tomorrow?
No, we meet at the end of Thursday.
So from like
Yeah. Yes, tomorrow is ours, periods 2, 5, 6. Thursday is 3, 4, 1. First period will meet 1:40 to 3:06. Which will be really weird that we end the day instead of start the day. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It'll probably be fine in the end. It's just weird. I know why they had to set it up strange like that. It's just like if those students who have 916 classes need those periods listed first because they would still be at Century College. And they'll be coming back during that time. Oh, you want to roll? Go. Okay, go for it. We'll have one person answer.
That's not a C.
It's not a C?
No. Okay.
I don't know what that meant.
But it's not a seat, like, that's not.
Oh, seat. Got it.
Row one, actually, no, we already called on that person. Can I roll again?
Sure, you're in charge. Oh, was it Angelina again?
No.
Oh, dang. I would have called on her again for sure.
Me too. Row 3, seat 7.
Anna,
Yeah.
can you help me approach one of these two problems? Your pick.
I'll do the first one.
Okay, I kind of assumed that.
Okay.
Now, the second question, if that feels difficult to you, do know that I have it saved. No, I don't have it posted yet. I will post it as soon as we stop this.
Okay, so you put them all in parentheses. The top and then the bottom.
How about I'll just do this because I'm lazy. Okay.
Okay. And then.
Can anything cancel, reduce? That's what you would look for next. Like, do they have anything in common that we can put together, or numbers that cancel, all that kind of stuff?
No.
Yes.
Okay, the 9 and the 9.
Good.
Okay, and then the 4 and the 16.
Good. There we go. I figured. Yeah, regular numbers work the same they've always done. Okay, so 4 and 16. This would leave a 4.
4.
Yep.
And then
How about letters?
it would be X, Q. Oh wait. Oh, so that is the bottom of the 3 or 2?
2.
Okay, so then it'd be just X on the top.
X1 on top. Good.
And then Y4 on the top.
Perfect. Okay, so this looks super messy. The only thing left on the top, I think, is X1 and Y4.
Yeah.
And on the bottom, I think, is only 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then nothing left is in common at all. So that would be done. Okay, good. I will, oh, I didn't even post the homework yet. I don't know, I had a bunch of things to do this morning. Didn't even think about that. Okay, well, I'll stop here just because we just don't have enough time to do all of it. But I will post this so you guys can absolutely check your work in there. If you did the second one already, you can check your work. And then the homework is very much exactly like all of this. It is expected to be done by Thursday because you've got a bunch of work time. You've got 2 hours work time, 2 mornings. So it's kind of weird. I don't know. The setup of wind time will take me some getting used to. I'm not very good at change. Like, I feel like I should be by now, but I'm not. Like, I literally can't remember the bell schedule every single day. Okay.